alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Right, so this little podcast that we're going to do, inshallah, it's going to be us chilling and asdiqa together. We're talking, we're messing around. And I think the first thing that we should do is introduce how we thought about starting this.
Okay. Basically, we have a friend of ours. He's in the hospital because he had a very bad car accident. And me and this guy,
This random guy.
we met for the first time ever in that hospital when we went to visit him. And out of nowhere, I heard people talking about him making content on Instagram. And I started asking him, like, what do you do? Like, what type of content do you do and stuff?
Yeah.
And we got into a really, really deep conversation. And there was basically a girl with us as well that was listening to our conversation. And she said that it felt like a podcast.
Exactly.
Like she enjoyed it. And we also like said to each other, we should do a podcast just like as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's not a joke anymore.
It's not a joke, yeah.
Now we've got cameras pointed at us and microphones on. And then you mentioned it.
Yeah, I mentioned it to my friend Adam.
Out of nowhere.
Out
Yeah.
of nowhere. And now he has
We're doing a podcast.
and now he is part of the podcast. So a little disclaimer before we start. Anything that you hear during the podcast is most probably not true. So check everything. The goal is not really to create something that is purely right and true and that sticks to some kind of standards. The goal is to gather, speak about what we'd have spoken about if we were, I don't know, sat in a coffee shop or something. And to push us through a bit of social pressure to explore subjects deeper so that we can come and sit down and create something fruitful, inshallah.
Inshallah.
What I wanted to share through this podcast is what we talked about earlier. Yani, I've been reading a book called Drive that explains basically how motivation works, and it dives into a few studies about the subject. And it's showing the difference between the framework that we use at school and that most of our parents in the Arab country use as well, which is the stick and the carrot. If you work hard, you're going to get the carrot. If you work hard, you're going to get the grade. If you work hard, you're going to get the money. And if you don't work hard, you're going to get beaten. Not really, with an actual stick. Punished with a stick. And it's comparing this approach that is used also in companies to another approach that is based on autonomy, that is based on purpose, and that is based on drive. You know? And one of the things that we mentioned earlier and that started our conversation was the fact that we all had in our lives something that we did for the intrinsic reward within it.
Like the passion.
Exactly, for the passion that you've got into that thing. For example, we all used to, for example, play football and we just go to play without any actual reward waiting for us. But that's work. And it's the same effort that you would put into your dissertation or something, maybe at different scales because we were younger. But if you manage to create that passion within you for things that are fruitful to your career, to your life, it's going to be on another level. And I wanted you to mention the story that you had
With my sisters.
about your little sisters.
Was because he asked me, can you do anything and start like having a passion towards it, even though you have never thought about it and like you always thought that you would never like it. Was that the question?
Yeah, exactly.
And at the beginning, I told him no. If I don't like something, I will never like it. But then I remembered that I have two little sisters. They are 13 years old, and they have always been like the type of girls who are very shy and very like you can say sensitive as well, and they will never like interact a lot with people. They're not as social as like the others. And my dad had a friend that who was president of the wrestling sport in Jordan, and out of nowhere, this guy called my dad. He told him, "We have a new gym, wrestling gym. It's only for girls." And I thought that maybe you'd want your girls to join. And my dad was like, "I don't think they will," and he was not like excited for the idea at all because he knows his girls. Like they were never like anything like that. And then when my dad like told this to my sisters, at the beginning they were like, "No, like it's not something we would do." And for some reason, I don't know how, they just wanted to try going for one time. And so basically they are twins, and one of them was like dared to go, and she actually joined. The other one wanted to only watch her try to play. And over like 1 week they went, and they kept just like going, and they all came back home and they told us, we don't like this, it's not like fun at all. And then all of a sudden they had their first ever tournament in Jordan. They went to the tournament and both of them got first places in their weights. And after that they loved the sport. Now they're playing in the national team. Hopefully next year they're gonna travel, I think, to Kazakhstan or something like that, to do a tournament as well. And all they talk about all day is their training and their wrestling and what should they do to improve. And even when I was there with them, all they wanted to do is wrestle with me at home. And yeah, now they love it so much now.
So yeah, it's just because imagine a world where you can substitute sitting down in a classroom and teaching something with deadlines and everything, with a world where you've got a way to create passion in people and let them be. Imagine you're like 10 and you're around the city because you've got, as you said, like a tournament in this or that. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with like being passionate about something as a kid and doing it for the intrinsic reward?
No, I have the same exact story.
Really?
Yeah. I've been through an accident. So after the accident, I couldn't come over alone.
Yeah.
So I had to like go through therapy.
Okay.
And after 2 or 3 therapy sessions, I was in almost the summer break. But the therapist told me just try to go something out of your comfort zone. Try something like dancing classes or acting classes, or try a new instrument. I was playing drums before, like before the accident, and I thought about acting because my dad did it before me, acting classes, and I wasn't interested in acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good thing. I wasn't that interested. I just said, I'll just sign up for it. I just tried for it. Why not? I went to the classes. The first class, it was good. And I was so shy. Like I couldn't talk to anyone. After the 4th class, it's 8 classes per workshop.
Okay.
After the 4th class, I changed at all. I became from introvert person who you can barely hear his voice to a super interactive someone in the workshop. So like the first thing, it was a joke that I spoke in it. There was a girl acting, making a scene, and she was chewing a gum like if she is a local.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous about it. I told, just shut up.
Yeah.
And they all stared at me and talked.
You
Wow.
said, finally.
Yeah, you have voice.
I remember you told me they were very proud.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the coach told me, I'm so proud of you. You finally talked. So
That's funny.
that was a change.
Yeah, that's funny.
So out of nowhere, I wasn't thinking about acting. I wasn't thinking about anything. And I loved the thing. Loved the thing that you are so pure.
Yeah.
You don't have to show something.
Yeah.
You feel it. You do it.
but now you actually have a passion towards acting.
Yeah. So it returned from curiosity to a passion.
Yeah.
So that's child passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more comes from a kid passion,
Yeah.
not an adult passion.
That's,
you know.
that's very interesting
Yeah.
what you say. Because in the book that I read about the school drive, they mentioned the fact that when you're growing up, you get convinced that the passions that you've got are childish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So at one point, you just let go of them, thinking that it's not something productive.
Yeah.
And I feel like as adults, we shouldn't let go of our passions as long as they align with the message of Islam.
Yeah.
You know. Also, acting is big in.
Yeah.
In,
Actually,
in Egypt.
a tool you need in acting
Mhm.
is imagination.
Mm.
Being a kid,
Mm.
you have a super talent of imagination.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you imagine playing with toys, making plays. You imagine scenarios. You imagine everything.
Yeah.
Growing up, they tell you, they convince you that this is childish.
Yeah,
Using your
yeah.
imagination
Yeah.
is childish.
Yeah, yeah,
When you so your brain becomes like
yeah.
dusty. You didn't work this
Yeah.
part of your brain of imagination for a long while,
Mm.
so it's just dusty, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you get into engineering, and
So
and
it
they
gets
give-
more dusty.
Yeah. And then you get into engineering, they give you a brief to 30 people, and they
Yeah.
all make the same
Yeah.
product.
Especially with the use of AI nowadays.
Yeah.
The AI doesn't know that there's like other 30 people that they have to do the
Exactly.
assignment as well. So it literally tell everybody the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's yeah, it's interesting. And how come I've always questioned myself about why is Egypt, because us in Morocco, whenever you turn off at least my parents, when they turn off TV, it's always movies from Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 So the few words that I know in Egyptians are my dad watching a movie and
Yeah.
then I listen.
Of Adil Imam.
Exactly.
I would say.
Adil Imam. So I was always wondering why Egypt is big, because you know they figured out that in the US during the Cold War, if you're making movies that get to people's hearts, you manage to market your culture better.
Yeah.
You see, and if your culture is adopted by people in the entire world, that means your economy goes up. That means your country flourishes, and it's more impactful. So it's an interesting case compared to the entire Arab world.
Yeah.
Morocco doesn't export really their movies.
Yeah.
I've never seen a movie from Saudi, honestly.
Yeah.
Yani.
There is
Recently, maybe in Ramadan you would find like series, not movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're most of them are like comedy shows.
Yeah.
Like not like dramatic and
From Saudi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not as dramatic as in Egypt, like
Yeah.
with an actual story that might like affect you, like, touch you, you know.
Because honestly, like some movies from Egypt, wallah, I'm like,
Bro,
subhanallah,
there's
it's very-
a lot of creative minds in Egypt.
Mm.
Even the one you didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the rising stars, they are so talented.
Mashallah,
Yeah. So when it comes to directors, it's always like there's movies in Egypt. Wallahi, you can compare it with Christopher Nolan.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that comparison.
The
but
budget
it's-
is not the same.
Yeah.
As well.
Of course.
But it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same 3-hour movie with a bunch of you just can't sit up and go away of the screen.
True.
They are so creative. I don't know how.
Like,
But
what's the infrastructure in Egypt that built all of this till this day?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, I don't know if you know for sure, but like, what do you
The,
This culture thing, it's like a lot of people in Egypt, they dream to be a football player as Muhammad Salah.
Yeah.
They dream to be an actor as someone, as Adil Imam.
yeah.
So we can see it from a long time.
Mm.
So the generations are more exposed to it and more interested in it.
Yeah.
So like having a country that started a good industry in the Arab world, and it's continuous.
Yeah.
So people now, like young, grow up watching these things.
Yeah,
They will be interested in it. Like people watching Muhammad Salah. I wish I would be like Muhammad Salah in one
Yeah.
day. So
Especially that he's Arab, he's Muslim, and like it's very rare to find
Yeah.
someone who would like be a star somewhere else other than the Middle East, you could say. So he could like, that's why he's an inspiration, because many of the players, for example, in Middle East, they don't want to just stay in the Middle East. They want to go somewhere else.
And actually, the same thing goes in heart surgeons.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a lot of heart surgeons in Egypt recently because of Magdi Yaoub
Okay.
and what he did.
Do you know him?
No.
Magdi Yaoub is a heart surgeon. He's called Professor Sir Magdi Yaoub.
Okay.
Sir is given the title from Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, he did over 30,000 heart surgeries.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where in Egypt or
in Egypt, and he used to work for NHS here, and he used to work in America, but now between Egypt and the UK,
Mhm.
and he have two hospitals in Egypt,
Okay.
Wow.
one in Cairo and one in Aswan, that make heart surgeries for free,
Wow.
especially for kids.
Okay.
So, bro, this one, this doctor, he is like the real definition of inspiration.
Yeah.
Like they didn't like his dad was a doctor, he didn't believe in him.
Yeah.
And when he was 5 years old, like he told his dad, I would be a heart surgeon.
Mm.
He told him, let's play around.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that he also mentioned, like making everything look childish or unreal
Yeah.
to children.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate this thing about our cultures. I'm not gonna lie. Like, also the thing about we say it in Egypt, كليات قمة,
Mhm.
colleges that are top.
Okay.
It's medicine school or
Yeah,
engineering.
yeah,
Yeah.
So if you're not in medicine school or engineering, you're not my beloved son.
I mean, it's the same in the
Yeah.
Arab world. Well, and the thing is, we cannot all be passionate about,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure.
engineering and even it's not productive as a country to
not.
just have engineers and doctors.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe I mean it's survival
Mm.
because they get paid better and we all want to.
But
we-
if all
we
of them
think we
get
want
paid
to.
better, so no one will.
No,
There's no money left.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like lately, a lot of Moroccans are. You know how we went to the semifinals and the World Cup,
Yeah.
and then we've got the AFCON. Even though some people
Online
Also
Afghan.
got the Arab Cup.
Arab Cup as
Yeah.
well. And also people around me that work hard. I always I love sharing them online because seeing Tom Cruise doing something crazy or seeing I don't know, someone from the UK doing something crazy, yes, it's inspiring. But you always have this thought, oh, he doesn't have my culture, he doesn't have my values, he doesn't have my background as in financially and intellectually. But when you see a guy that grew up in the same neighborhood as you or as your parents or something, way more inspiring.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And when you hear him talking like you, you're like, okay, I could be that guy.
Yeah.
Having
Whereas-
the same favorite dish.
Exactly.
Like
It's-
all of Egyptians love kushari.
Exactly.
Same as Muhammad Salah. No one knows. They said my favorite food is kushari.
They said that?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
We're eating kushari. Like people eating the same dish, the same favorite dish,
Yeah, yeah.
and from the same country.
Yeah.
Even the same. Like Muhammad Salah is from government in Egypt. It's called the Sharia. Most of this government, they want to be Muhammad Salah.
Yeah.
The kids growing up, I want to be the next Muhammad Salah.
Right.
They will not.
No, but we're here to
break
motivate.
Inshallah, they will. But if there's a change happen, Muhammad Salah, he was lucky about something that in 2011 there was a problem in Egypt, a thawra. So people had to they selected 11 players to go play out. So he went to Basel. And he was lucky about it.
Oh, okay.
Like it's 1% luck.
Yeah.
So if they, like in our countries, I don't know about Morocco, but I guess in Egypt and Jordan, I know, they prefer people on others. I don't know the term.
True. Like
They prefer the captain's son.
the corruption.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's corrupt. It's
So
corrupt.
they prefer someone's son. So they choose
Yeah, it's the same
like
everywhere.
connections.
We have an expression for it as well.
Mm.
Bak صاحبي we say. Abuk صديقي.
That we say wasta.
Yeah, we say what.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's that everywhere. Even in the US, you see it.
Sure.
In all the countries, you see it. Look, the good thing about, and you reminded me of this thing, like you said, it's a 1% situation, even less probably. Truthfully, the other day I was thinking about laziness. And I was like, when I tell you for sure that you're gonna get to a certain result, if I tell you today that if you walk 10,000 steps and then you eat X, you're gonna get to this weight by this time. And if you really value the result, if your dream is to become fit, you're gonna do it. If I guarantee it's 100%.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guarantor though is Allah.
Yes.
In Quran, Allah لا يضيع أجر من أحسن عملا. So if you're lazy, maybe the problem is a lack of belief in God.
Could be. But I also have similar thing from Islam, which is لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. So, okay, we might be lazy and it could be because of religious reasons, but I can also understand from the Quran that sometimes we are not actually able to do something, and we're not able to do it just because of Allah as well. Like Allah
Yes, but the thing that you have to do sa'i. You
Of
have
course.
to give it all.
Yeah, give it all you
The
can.
effort. And the results, it's not yours.
Exactly.
It's Allah's.
Yeah. So you study hard.
Yeah.
You studied all night. And this what you can do.
Yeah.
This is all what you can do. The results, it's not yours.
Yeah.
It's Allah's results.
That's actually very true because I don't know if I told you when we were in the hospital, but this guy when we had exam seasons like 3 weeks ago. If my parents are gonna watch it, please.
Have mercy, please.
Please. I had no idea. We had 3 exams, okay? I had no
I
idea.
had 5.
Yeah, he had 5. I had no idea about anything.
Wow.
Okay, I haven't studied anything. Okay, I like do the assignments like during the semester,
We
but I
didn't.
didn't actually study. Like
We didn't do the assignments.
I sometimes like when the teacher tells us like you should do this worksheet. Sometimes I do it, but most of the time no.
I didn't.
Okay, so I had actually no idea about anything, and we had exactly 4 days and to do 3 exams and I was like I told him like I'm not gonna pass.
Yeah.
I have no chance to pass. And he said it, but I think he said it like not seriously. He said خليها على الله.
No, it was seriously, bro.
It was serious?
Wallah.
I felt like bro, no, like
No,
chill,
just
you know?
خليها على الله. خليها على الله. ارمي همومك على الله.
Yeah, at that time I actually didn't know that you were serious. I thought like you're just telling me to like us chill.
Because I say it a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean it.
I didn't know that you actually meant it. Okay, until I told you about this later. Wallahi, we spent almost 10 hours every day in the library.
We even had an all-nighter before the math exam.
Really?
We went to the library 9 p.m. We got out 8 a.m. grabbed the coffee and entered the exam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And every single hour we spent in that library, every time I get I think waswas from Shaitan that you're not gonna pass. Okay. And every time I remember his words, Wallahi, I always say "Khali ala Allah." Okay, and I finish, I complete. For some reason, it was I never felt this before. Every time I read anything, I understand it.
SubhanAllah.
I didn't have any difficulty understanding something. Maximum I read it two times, 3 times. That's it. I'm done.
Alhamdulillah.
And it's in my mind.
Wallah, it was a
Alhamdulillah.
very weird thing. Like, you can't like collect all things you need for math
Yeah.
In
in
one
8
day.
hours, like in 10 hours. We did.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I also got the first class in every one of the exams.
Yeah.
Wallahi, I had every time I enter the exam, I leave. I say this was all from Allah. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of it is just, actually believing truly that Allah
Exactly.
is. And sometimes, you think that maybe if you tweak your routine, you're gonna get more info in.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe if I wake up like a bit earlier and then do that, and maybe, a cold shower and whatever.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it's whether you really believe that God is with you.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, because, when you draw belief from yourself, like the people from the Western world do, I am good, I am great.
Manifestation.
All of this stuff. Truthfully, deep down, you know that you're flawed.
Yeah.
You see?
You know that you're lying to yourself. Yeah.
Obviously,
That's subconsciously. What I'm saying.
Exactly.
I know I will not pass.
Exactly, because you're speaking to the camera or you're saying it in a mirror, and then you're gonna stand up, and then when you go into the kitchen, you're gonna trip.
Yeah.
So this is the first sign that you're flawed. But when you're drawing your courage and your belief from the values of Allah, it's different.
That's true.
Very true. You've got certainty that someone he created the earth and the heavens. Subhanallah.
He's able to.
Yeah, it's a little grade.
Even I remember you said that
The story of the grade.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I had a friend. We went to an exam. We passed the exam, and then the teacher took the papers, and he graded them. And the day after he came, he told us he's not going to give us the papers yet. And after that session, I was talking to a friend, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to pass the exam. And I told him, pray to God so that you pass the exam. And he mentioned that there's no need because the grades were already put on the papers.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I told him, do you genuinely think that Allah lives with us or something? Astaghfirullah. He's able to control time however he wants, and paper is not gonna be a problem for him. He creates mountains. So subhanallah, we tend to think with our little vision that everything can be controlled and everything can be traced back to a reason.
It's basically just because of how much data we
Collect,
collect every day.
yeah.
Everything is based on statistics.
Yeah.
You either pass or you don't. You have a 75% chance of living.
Mm.
You have a whatever chance of tripping or whatever. Actually, whatever. Everything has data now, and we rely on it a lot more than we rely on our beliefs in our hearts.
True.
The conclusion is, خليها على الله.
Also, what's beautiful is the thing that you mentioned about self-sabotaging because you don't believe in God, and then it pushes you to reinforce the loop.
Yeah.
That's joyous. So do you want to explain to him what
Yeah,
you mentioned?
it's basically like when you don't believe that Allah is capable of doing specific thing for you, then He would not give it to you. Like He would punish you for not thinking
Because
and believing in.
there was hadith قدسي, the meaning أنا عند ظن عبدي بي.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
I'll give you what do you think about
Whatever you think about
Yeah.
Him, yeah. And every time, like I have actually lived in or tried to include this in my life. Every time I get a bit far away from Allah and I stop believing in all the things that Allah can provide for me, I always actually get even more far away from Allah until the time where I say, no, what am I doing here? I should go back to Allah. I should start believing in Allah more. And subhanallah, everything goes exactly how I want it to be.
Yeah, sure.
There's.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything?
Go.
There's something I heard 2 days ago. It was very, very close to my life. It was very, very touching. I forgot the ayah exactly, but there's an ayah in the Quran that says basically that Allah, if Allah loves you and cares for you, He will not punish you in the day of judgment. Instead, He will punish you in life. I forgot what's the ayah though. And
But the hadith is in Allah that أحب عبدا ابتلاه.
no, not
You don't
that.
mean this.
No, I don't mean this. It's basically I realized this after reading this ayah. Okay, sometimes when I do a sin, okay, let's say I lied, okay, in the same exact day or maximum the next day, I would get something or something bad would happen to me.
Yeah.
I would get punished in life.
Yeah.
I would actually think back after I get punished. I would think back. I would say what did I do to deserve this?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I remember that I did that. I did
Yeah,
something
yeah.
bad.
I see.
Okay, and it has been going on for a very long time. Actually, when I do 3 sins, I get 3 problems. Okay, and after I heard this ayah, I was pleased that Allah is maybe, I'm not gonna say for sure, but Allah maybe is punishing me in life instead of punishing me in the day of judgment. And this made me go this made me want to be always thinking about whatever I do, whatever sin I do, and relating it to any problem that happens with me.
Sure. SubhanAllah, you get. Also, I wanted to mention something. You reminded me of something, and then it just flew back. But yeah, since SubhanAllah in this earth, I'm trying to remember, but I forgot. It's fine.
Was it something I said before what I said or after?
No, about the sins. You being punished for your own sins. I think, one of the ideas is also, if you're wishing for big things, you need to experience hard things to build the stamina to be able to deal with great rizq, however that rizq looks like. So sometimes there's a reason for the things that we get, the punishments that we get, and sometimes it's just ibtila for a greater cause that God is getting us ready for.
Yeah.
So you can feel more the ni'mah of the thing. So if you experienced an accident or a health care issue, so you will be more grateful to times when you were good.
Exactly. Contrast.
So you will say, you will think about the ni'mah more.
Sure.
So if you were if you were born with a lot of money, one day you became a poor.
Exactly.
So you didn't know that thing valued so much.
Yeah.
So even
a simple thing like a finger. If you lose a finger,
Yes.
you will immediately like.
So even in the accident I
Be
mentioned,
grateful for the nine left.
Yeah.
even the accident I experienced made me feel like everything is a ni'mah. Like, you know, when you step, you step in a bed or in a table leg with your last finger.
Yeah.
Say, I wish I would cut it.
Yeah.
Well, this finger controls your whole movement.
SubhanAllah.
Wallahi, I couldn't move. There was a problem in my arteries.
Okay.
So it was like this, and I couldn't control it.
Wow.
So I couldn't move properly because this finger, this time, the last finger, so it doesn't exceed this length. So
Yeah.
even this thing is a ni'mah.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah, that creates the whole movement of your body. SubhanAllah.
There's many stories to relate in this way.
And also, in another way, you're asking God for a car. You have to experience moving with transportation, so you value more the gift from Allah.
Sure.
You ask Allah for the money, so you have to experience hard working, so you value more the monies and don't do other things with it, you know. So you value more the thing after the hard times, not after the good things that happen, you know.
Okay, I've got a question. How much do you believe in manifestation? Like actually, the actual practice of manifestation, not just the idea.
Can you define it?
Like doing the actual actions that lead to you manifesting something. Which, for example, if you want a special car, a car that you always wanted, you would put a picture of it that you would see every day, and every time you see it,
How do they call them? The vision boards.
vision boards.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And like telling yourself in the mirror, like, I'm going to get this car one day. Doing things that are related to this thing that you want. For example, if you want to get into a specific uni in, let's say, in California. Let's say Harvard is in California. I don't know where Harvard is. So you go to California, visit the campus, live the vibes that like are in the campus, make yourself like believe that you are in the uni.
Some things of this thing. You want to go first?
Go for it.
So, some things were from manifestation. Not all of them. Like if you said, I will fail this module, 100% I will fail.
Yeah.
So you trained your brain to even don't do a effort in this.
The bolts.
Yeah.
So,
So you told yourself, I will fail. I will get anxious in the exam and I can't speak properly.
Yeah.
And I will not do it. So this thing will not make you like you believed that you will fail, so you will.
Yeah.
If you said I can do it, I will go for it and I will try harder. So this thing will work. Sometimes the car example, like putting the car picture and the vision boards, it does happen. So you keep remembering your dream.
But like, do you think when it happens that it happened just because you put the vision board, or because of many other reasons that?
Because it's in my mind. Religiously, it's in my mind, so I will keep asking Allah for it.
No, I'm not saying dua.
I know.
Dua is something else.
I know, but if you put a car,
It's something else. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, like I meant if you are not like doing dua and just like practicing the actions of manifestation. I'm not talking about dua.
No, this is
two things that contradict. Sometimes, like I haven't found a solution for them, which are. So sometimes God loves the one that does dua a lot for something, but also the best type of dua, I feel like, is hamd.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, because it shows that you are يعني
Grateful.
worthy of being given more.
Because you're grateful to everything that you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well, another thing is istighfar
Yeah.
as well.
yeah, true.
Because you're trying to like make yourself deserve it.
Exactly. Yeah. You're reducing the bad things
Yeah.
in you, so that God is like, okay, give him that.
Yeah.
So those two contradict. Because if I'm in hamd mode,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be in I want mode.
You want to keep everything that you have.
Yeah, basically.
No, but it doesn't work like this because you're always passionate about something, about having a car, about having something.
But if you're
So
passionate about something, you're not thankful, are you?
you're thankful for what you have now, and you wish for a good thing. So you make dua to get the good thing, but you're grateful for what you have now. You're grateful that you using the public transportation and have money for it,
Yeah.
and wish for a car. It doesn't contradict.
Does it? Does
No,
it not?
it does.
Because if you're not really if you really hate the situation, you'll do dua أكثر. You see what I mean? Because if I'm like, oh, this
But
M1
no,
bus
this
is
is-
annoying, I want a car. You
This
know?
is ungrateful.
Any? Yeah, that's the thing. That's
Yeah.
why I'm telling you, I haven't found a way to balance them both. Because when I'm thankful in some periods of life, you know, you're very thankful. You're like, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Like the sun is shining,
Yeah.
you know, you've got friends around, nearly done with
Yeah.
uni. You're very thankful, yani. And so you don't pray for much. And I feel like in those periods, you get a lot.
Look, I agree with the thing that you cannot balance, like hamd and dua. I feel a bit of it, but the thing that I not disagree, but it just maybe didn't happen to me, was that when I do hamd a lot, I don't see results. It's not like I'm saying anything bad. I don't mean anything bad, but alhamdulillah, I see results like randomly, you can say.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm close, whenever I'm expecting the best from Allah, I get the results. But like the thing that you said, which is like balancing hamd and dua, yeah, I can feel it. Because sometimes when I'm praying, for example, and I'm doing whatever, qiyam layl or whatever, okay? You usually make dua when you do sujood. And sometimes I feel like, should I make dua or should I not? Because if I do, this means that I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It just feels like this.
I know, but you can ask for, you can do dua for everything.
I know.
Because you can do dua that this ni'mah stays.
At the end, I make dua. But I always feel like deep down.
Yeah, I know
we don't
what you feel,
have-
but-
personally, I don't have the answer for this. As you said, it's just the feeling.
It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling.
Obviously, we don't have knowledge, and we did a little disclaimer at the beginning that everything.
So
is
everything is
probably-
not true. It may be true, but
It might be like the
I guess it's not. Like it's.
the probability is very low.
Also, I always like say, if I make dua, I don't deserve it. I have made this sin, I have made that sin, I've committed that. No, I don't deserve it. Let me do istighfar to the point where I feel like I am able to do dua.
Yeah.
And then I am able to do. Let's
Yeah.
just say like a good month passes. I'm good. I'm praying on time, everything. And then I say, okay, I deserve a dua.
Yeah.
Okay. Wallahi, that's a
build up
mindset.
to the
Yeah, I know.
It's like just a feeling. It's
Yeah.
not like something I actually plan, you know?
Yeah.
It's something that my unconscious mind does, you know? Then I feel, no, alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for everything.
Yeah.
I don't do that. You know, that's
Yeah.
how...
You can't balance it, but if you did, it's a good thing. Like, let's turn back to the car example. You're grateful for your life now. You don't have a car, right? So you're grateful for what do you have now, from being in a good uni, alhamdulillah, having a good weather,
That's true.
having a good
Big thing in the
friends,
UK.
having good friends.
Yeah.
But you need extra thing.
Yeah.
You need a car.
But
Yeah.
It will
what
ease your
we're
life.
saying is that your dua will not be as strong as if you really need it.
Yeah, I know.
To push it to the extreme, you know, if you've ever cried on the mattress while praying, you cannot get to that state if you not desperately need it.
Yeah,
that's true.
You see what I mean?
Actually, yeah, this works.
So
I remember one time, well, maybe till now, unfortunately, I felt my heart heavy in exams, from sins, from doing everything, leading salas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I remember I couldn't cry for this. I want to cry to be like
exactly. Yeah.
more,
Relieved.
lighter
Yeah.
after a cry. And I was planning to just pray Aisha and sleep.
Yeah.
I prayed Aisha, then I said, I will do Qiyam Layl. I did. In sujood, I'm asking Allah while trying to cry. I'm crying, but there's no tears.
Yeah.
I want my heart to be lighter.
Yeah.
I feel it. I keep asking Allah. I feel my heart so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so black.
Yeah.
From sins,
You know-
from everything happens. It was an exam time,
Yeah.
so I felt like I'm so away. I felt stressed. I missed my family. I'm out of my diet plan. I'm out of my body shape. I gained weight.
Some
Yeah.
bodies not.
And this thing, I need this thing.
Yeah.
I need my heart to be lighter because I can't live anymore.
Yeah.
That's it's relatable.
Yeah.
The thing that
Subhanallah, yeah.
Subhanallah.
You see how, for example, one of I forgot which Sahabi it was, but the Sahabi that went into the room of the Prophet while he was sleeping on a straw mattress, and when he saw the marks on his face, he started crying.
Yeah.
That's the level of sensibility
Yeah.
that Islam pushes us to get to.
Yeah.
And all this red pill, Andrew Tate, and I don't know who's pushing us to be harder, is nothing close to what Islam is teaching us.
That's true.
The more sensible you are, the more good you're gonna do in this world. Because if you want to create something huge, you need to be sensible and to be into the details as well. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention and that I discovered probably a few months ago about what you just said about your heart gets hardened, and you think that you're a hypocrite for going back to Allah when it gets hard. I always feel that way.
Yeah.
But I heard, I forgot who mentioned it, but basically, if I get to a level where I'm really deep in the shit, and I go to you, for example, as a friend, you know that you matter a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're the one that is going to save
Yeah.
me. And it's the same thing with Allah.
That's true.
When I get deep into the whatever troubles I'm in, turning back to Allah is me actually being
in a faith.
exactly in a
Yeah.
state where I know that Allah is
He's the
gonna
only
save
one
me.
that
He's
can,
the only one that can
solve
save me
this.
from it.
Yeah.
So it calms your heart from this hypocrite
Yeah.
thinking.
And another thing, this actually happened with me and him. I think like the first week I met,
Yeah.
like second week maybe actually. Like we were not very very close, but he was like, he came to uni one day. He told me, I'm like actually very like depressed that I'm very far away from Allah. And like other things, and like studies and exams and whatever. But I'm like, look, I'm not gonna fix your exams problem. Okay, you're gonna figure it out.
You're gonna fix my example. Come here.
Okay, but about like you feeling that, and I tell this to myself as well. Unfortunately, when someone tells you this,
You remember it.
it touches your heart better
Yeah.
than when you tell it to yourself.
True.
But he told me this, like he feels like he's very, very far away from Allah. First thing I told him is that look around you, in, like as a Muslim, like, and who's
Yeah.
Muslim around you,
Yeah.
and like imagine how many of these Muslims actually think about going back to Allah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not something that anybody has.
You know, if
Like,
itself is a
be
privilege.
grateful that
Yeah.
you have this
feeling into it.
that feeling
Yeah.
of you're far.
That's
regret.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
true.
yeah.
Actually, this is a good point that even the feeling of you are far away,
Yeah.
this is an ni'mah.
It's
Exactly.
something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Not like
Sure.
I'm not gonna like say any numbers, but like the people around me, the Muslim people around me,
Yeah.
I just feel, I'm not gonna put into my niyyah,
Of
but
course.
I feel like they don't even consider.
You don't know, like you don't know.
I don't know.
His niyyah, but maybe his acts, like
His approaches.
he doesn't give a shit, like
Yeah.
stuff.
Like-
Like, I don't mean it, but yeah, one day inshallah I will do tawbah. But maybe in his inner self he hates himself.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
the thing.
Yeah.
Also, when you're in social settings, you get to you usually you become dumber. There's studies about it.
Really?
Yeah.
In
that
your what?
when you're in social settings, you become dumber. Your IQ goes lower.
Why?
Yeah.
Bro,
For some reason.
let's just see ourselves in exam period. Wallahi, we were brain rotted.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're by yourself, obviously it depends with whom. Now since we're speaking, we're doing an effort to be of a higher IQ.
Yeah,
But when you're with your friends chilling, making, I don't know.
you're the dumbest ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So judging people based on, that's why
I'm not judging, wallahi.
No,
I'm just saying that.
I'm
This is
just-
judging, bro.
it's important to mention as well.
Of course.
When we sat down, me and you, when everybody was around us, we didn't speak.
Yeah.
The other day at the hospital, we
That's
sat
true.
down,
That's true.
we didn't speak. And if I looked at him and judged him based on the 10 minutes that I saw him interacting with people, I'm
Yeah.
like, he's a guy, any normal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I might even link you to them because you're sat with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that those people are any like bad or something, but I'm just saying. Imagine that the circle was bad,
Yeah.
and then out of the blue, everybody left for X reason, and it was me and him.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the book to him for some reason. I don't know. We were speaking, and the difference in IQ between me and you sitting and talking, and how you were interacting with the others.
Yeah. It completely
massive.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
you're more smarter.
Yeah, smarter when you're alone.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's exceptions, like,
But yeah,
but
of
generally,
course, but yeah, that when you're in a group of friends like me and Hisham, or we three together, we can't speak. Like, it's either speaking so deep,
yeah,
or we're the dumbest ever.
Yeah. Sure.
There's no gray part. Like I
And it
always
also
feel.
depends on like who you're sitting with. If like someone who's,
But my best friends, it's always dumb.
it's always dumb.
Yeah. Or deep.
Then I mean, this is because you're very close. Like
Maybe.
you don't have to talk about like every day what you're doing in your life. You're already like very close to each other to know this. You know, like about his studies, your studies, and stuff like that. So you either want to have fun, or you want to get into something deep and like talk more about it. You know. But I wanted to also say something about like sitting with other people. There's always these memes, like when my two friend groups meet each
Ah,
other.
yeah.
Yeah. It's for me. I find it very hard to balance.
mix
Like,
up friend groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I always find it hard to like just stay with a group of friends that is in one specific area.
With a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one is a gangster,
Yeah.
and one are in the Islamic society.
I always have to have like different groups of friends.
Yeah.
I don't have many friends, but I have like a friend that would make me laugh, a friend that would, if I sit with, I know I'm gonna like have a really good conversation with, that is going to motivate me. For example, a friend that likes adventures and wants to do this and that.
Yeah.
You know.
Hisham, all of them are in you. Wallahi. Wallahi, we feel like we were going to adventures.
Yeah.
we keep laughing for no reason.
Sure.
We speak deeply.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't. It can be one person that you find all of these
Yeah.
things
Maybe, yeah.
in,
Yeah.
or separate groups.
Yeah.
But actually, it's way funnier to find a person
That has
that
them.
shares all of
Yeah.
your moods.
Yeah.
But I think You know, and it's one of the reasons why I think in Islam it's bad to share your sins. Is a good definition. A good definition of a good friend is someone that you feel ashamed to sin in front of. You see what I mean?
That's you,
bro. So, and also in Islam, we know that interactions with people is not always an easy thing, and you've got ajr if you interact with people. I forgot about the hadith exactly, but I shared it with my mom because she mentioned this, like, you know, when we grow up, we tend to have less friends. And I don't know if she minds me sharing this, but she was telling me how she doesn't feel the urge to get any friends. You see what I mean? She has a few. She has her sisters. She has the family and all that. And I felt at that point that she might need friends. So I mentioned it to her. I told her that putting the effort into friendship and communicating with other people and sharing your thoughts and all that, in of itself, you've got ajr in. Apart from the وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا, there's another one. I forgot exactly what was it.
Actually, my mom is way different.
Just
like,
to
she doesn't tend to have more friends, but she, والله ما شاء الله عليها. She gives the fullest in the relationship, in her friendship. She gives the fullest. Like, mashallah, she I don't know how she does this, but sometimes, wallah, we are friends. Sometimes I'm bored of him. Like, bro, just go away. Go your home, please. She gives the fullest in the relation, in her friendships or in her relationship. Mashallah.
She might not be happy.
Yeah, she is. She's not happy.
She might not be happy.
Yeah, so, but she feels guilty if she didn't.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah,
true. But in that burden, you've got ajr.
Yeah.
And you see, it's beautiful. And yeah, the people that you don't feel ashamed to sin in front of, maybe they're entertaining, as you said. But it's probably not the good crowd.
True.
Yeah, fine. And sometimes, you know, there's this experiment that was done on people. They got a few people, I mean, one by one in a room, and they told them, if you press this button, you're gonna get electrocuted. Yeah.
You get what?
You get electrocuted if you press the button. And they tried that once, and yes, they felt the shock. Then they left them with cameras in the room. There was nothing to do in the room, just white walls and a table with a button. 10 minutes, 20 minutes pass, and then you see the guy going to the button. And it happens a lot. Everybody's doing it. So in life, we prefer to be stimulated, even badly, than not being stimulated. See? So sometimes that crowd stimulates you, but it's probably not the good thing to do.
But by simulation, you mean like to follow someone, or like to do something that is out of
any stimulus. You're bored. You prefer to drink this bad thing, than compared to not drinking it.
Yeah.
Oh, like you mean you cannot just stay chill.
Exactly.
Like for example,
exactly.
social smokers. So they don't smoke.
Yeah.
But when in a friend group, they do.
Yeah.
So, like, they prefer more to smoke with them than standing alone or smoking out of depression.
Yeah.
But actually, you can relate this to like other scenarios where you're with a friend group and they're talking about something that is not a very appropriate thing to talk about. You would find yourself sometimes talking with them about it. Yeah. If you actually thought about it and like said like, no, this is something that is not appropriate to talk about, and you stop talking, I think that you might feel more self-value when you do it.
Exactly. And even it gives even value to you.
Exactly.
Because in front of them, even in that relationship, it gives you value. This guy has his boundaries.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
Prayer is, sometimes you feel you're with a group that doesn't pray or something, and you feel ashamed to stand up and go pray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas if they see you as the guy who prays, they're gonna call you more. And not trying to praise myself, but I've done it a few times in front of people, willingly. So I would be sitting with someone and I'm like, right, it's time to pray. And I know he's not going to stand and go pray. And I would mention it. Not, I'm going to go toilet or all right, give me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, I'm going to go pray.
Yeah.
And just see how he reacts.
Yeah.
You see? And maybe...
He would say...
yeah, he might join.
Yeah.
So, and it gives you more value. Because, you know, as an overthinker, or if anyone who thinks a lot, or has a high anxiety and is highly conscious of his actions, he tends not to be funny.
The one that...
That's an overthinker. Because being funny is being in a high pace.
Yeah.
You don't think that much.
But actually...
you see something and make fun of, I don't know, your color, or I make fun of the way you're wearing. I don't think that much with a filter of values and how is that going to impact my relationship. Whereas someone who overthinks, he would... So you're less funny. And the Prophet ﷺ, there isn't much recollection of him being funny. He used to accept any jokes sometimes. There were situations where they would joke jokes.
He used to give jokes, but they were like, how can I say it?
Lighter.
Very, very light, teasingly.
But
Exactly. So that's the thing. Sometimes your value, if it's not coming from being funny, it might be coming from the fact that you're someone that makes sure that the people are on the right path.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the best. And also, you can explore the funny bits. And I think one of the ways to be accepted by people is usually to be a bit funny.
Yeah.
You see,
It's
and
like
it
more...
can be studied. And personally, I wanted to dive in a book that explains how to be funny, because there's obviously like some kind of recipe for it, and to do it consciously.
Yeah, because actually, people trying to be funny, they're less funnier than people that don't.
Yeah.
Like people born funny, not like learn to be funny.
But I feel there's still a way. I feel like, because
there is,
for example, when you look at comedians at their start, and when they get to the top, the way they speak, the jokes, because
they
they've
learn
studied
the structure,
so
but they are born funny.
I'm not
but
sure.
they learned how they deliver more. Like stand-up comedians.
Some of them are really not
they
funny at first.
Yeah.
Some of them are so trash.
Yeah,
and then, because, for example, one of the examples of this is, what's his name? The black guy, not Kevin Hart. Not Kevin Hart.
The one who got stuck by
not Chris.
Will Smith.
No. The other one that does really deep jokes. But it's not proper.
The one with Will Smith in Bad Boys.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Not that guy. Not that guy. No, it's not important. He mentioned that there are two types of comedians. There are the Kevin Hart type of comedians that would go everywhere and be funny. And he just has it in you, as you said. Like it's something that happens in his childhood, and he just becomes funny. And the other type is the ones that study the jokes. And honestly, and it's not the type of comedians that you would watch and be like and explode with laughter. It's the type of jokes that you would watch and you're like a little smile and you're like, wow.
You know, actually, sorry for distracting you, but we were speaking about Egyptian comedy and Egyptian things, and we were speaking about Adil Imam.
Anyway.
The one that's funny about Adil Imam, that he's giving a joke. He's introducing it. Then, if you post in this moment, you can never guess what's going on after. So this is that makes thing funny. So he's instant fun, like he gets the funny out of nowhere. It's you can never expect what he would say.
True.
So it's born thing.
And you'd always find that funny people do not laugh a lot.
That's true.
You know. And they would make the joke their own joke, and everybody would laugh, and they would be just watching it, because they are used like to like, for them this is not funny. For them this is something that happened naturally.
And it's exactly what he said. The fact that there is nothing spontaneous about it, because he's thinking about it. He knows what's coming. So think, boys, this is the
Yeah. And actually,
time.
like
What time?
I realized that you and Sahib told me before.
Yeah.
Sahib actually said this to me, that you can never sit with an Egyptian and don't laugh.
It's
We
it's in your roots, yeah.
yeah, we don't find things I say funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's just a normal thing. You laugh.
True.
I'm born with this. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure that this is funny or not. I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying it with my friends, and if I said this joke to my friends, they would stare at me.
Your Egyptian friends.
My Egyptian friends.
Yeah.
Next episode, you're gonna tell us about the research about laughing in general.
Yeah. Let's. Okay. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Next step, we dive into funny.
Yeah.
How?
He had told me a lot about like laughing, where it comes from.
Really?
Yeah, but like where does it come from
And
the core?
that
Okay.
you hear that expression that people die from laughing.
Yeah. That's
It's
true.
real.
Yeah.
People really die from that.
So
Yeah.
stay
Assalamu
tuned
alaikum.
for next episode.
Exactly, and make sure you don't believe anything.
This is not real.
Fact check every single.
Whatever you relate to, check it again.
Fact check.
You know.
And thank you guys. Wallah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.